Bitcoin has just broken to a new all-time high. The halving is coming up in less than 47 days, and I feel that the good times could be turning into great times very soon. That said, there is one thing that I know that all of you who are watching this video are aware of, and it's the fact that Bitcoin miners have been underperforming Bitcoin. Not just underperforming, but they have been tanking while Bitcoin is reaching and breaking to new all-time highs. In this video, I want to discuss why I believe this is happening. I've touched on it in some previous videos, but I'll get a little more specific. And of course, I want to update you guys at least once a week here on the channel with my thoughts on plays like Riot and Mara. Okay, so we will be discussing Riot and Mara, but we got to focus on the fun stuff too. We got to talk about the all-time high that Bitcoin just broke to. We'll take a look at Bitcoin on the charts, do some zooming in. I'll talk to you about where I think this short-term correction stops, because since we broke to that new all-time high, as I'm recording this video a few hours ago, we've tanked like 8 or 9%. But hint, hint, I do think we halt this short-term correction very soon. And really, the important part of this technical analysis is where I think Bitcoin will be going to prior to the halving on April 20th or April 20th-ish, which is this yellow line I've drawn here. So we'll talk upside targets when we're taking a look at BTC on the charts. Okay. On top of that, I just want to read over some of my newsletters from the past few days. I've really been covering the exact subjects I'm discussing in this video in these newsletters. So I figured just read over some of these and kind of expand on my points because I have it all nicely put together in these newsletters. Okay. That's the video, you guys. My name's Royce Jacob. Welcome back to Waves Capital. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe to the channel because, again, good times should be becoming great times pretty soon here. I sense waves on the horizon. The waves options portfolio and really the portfolio itself, even the common shares portfolio, have been doing very, very well recently. Even today, for example, just to kind of veer off real quick. It's in this one. Even in today, we had some very, very good trades, put options on Apple. And as you guys can see right here, Apple is currently down almost 3%. So we actually had some options contracts that were up 470% today. I closed some of those out, took some profits. Here's just a little look into what the daily trade alert newsletters look like if you aren't familiar. But just want to let you guys know that Waves Capital is always open for you guys. If you want to join my complete portfolio and daily trade alert group, where I write these newsletters every day, that's the first link in the description of this video. I want to say right now that I'm pretty confident that I'll be raising the price of this to $20 a month over the next month or two. Those of you who are already on the $15 a month plan will be grandfathered in, so you don't have to worry about that. But just want to let you guys know if you're on the fence about this. Regardless, it's the first link in the description. You get everything that this box here entails. $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. You can try it free for 7 days. The reason I do that is because I'm so confident in the product. That's also why I'm considering raising the price of the product. Okay, this is my livelihood pretty much. I'm a trader by nature, or like as a profession, I'm a trader, but this is extremely important to me too. And I put the far majority of my time into this. So newsletter, complete portfolio, literally a complete breakdown of my portfolio. It's the first link in the description once again if you want to sign up. If not, no worries at all. I'm excited to, discuss Bitcoin and all the stocks we love, know and love here on the channel too. Okay. Bitcoin has broken above $69,000. And in doing so, it has eclipsed the prior all-time high it reached back in November of 2021. The king has retaken the throne. So let's take a look at this, okay? You can see here, we're zooming it again. Pretty much immediately turned down. We'll go to 4-hour candles to make it a little more graspable as we zoom in here. Let's just do that now, and then we can zoom out and talk macro price targets. So Bitcoin did reach an all-time high, an official all-time high of $69,300. Didn't last long. It's difficult to even, it's technically a new all-time high, but it's difficult to consider this an all-time high because, as I mentioned in my newsletter this morning, I do think that there was probably some good old market manipulation afoot, I guess. Bitcoin, the crypto markets overall, if you guys have been in the space for any meaningful amount of time, you'd know that, there's a whole lot of market manipulation that goes on in crypto. It's so liquid, it's so accessible, it's international, it's global, same thing, I guess. But point is, there's a lot of market manipulation afoot, and there always has been. I'm assuming that this was a little bit of a bull trap that tried to prod some buys, but that was clearly rejected. Okay, so regardless, we're seeing an amazing volume. Bitcoin, a lot of individuals believe, and I guess rightfully so, believe that new all-time highs or previous all-time highs, this new all-time high region does tend to act as resistance. This, again, was a bull trap, but most of the time, just historically speaking, you look at every asset that has broken to a new high, it's typically very, very bullish. And that's when the hype and the momentum and the mania really start to compound, okay, is when that new all-time high is broken. Because an asset, after it reaches a new all-time high in the charts, enters an area or a territory which is known as blue sky territory. This is where there are no historical levels of resistance standing in its way. So it's kind of just free range, okay? That does make it significantly more volatile. It makes it objectively sketchier, I guess. But again, when new all-time highs are broken, it's very, very rare. And I can't even recall seeing this before, but when a new all-time high is broken in an asset like this with the momentum that Bitcoin has in this situation, fundamental and technical, it's extremely rare that we don't rally to new highs, okay? So before we continue reading, and I will get to Riot, you guys. I want to cover Riot here, just go over my rationale. And as you can see here, I will mention this article that is featured just right here before moving on to kind of some of my other rationale behind why miners are falling. But let's quickly just close it out on the charts for Bitcoin, and then we'll move on to that, okay? So zooming out, Bitcoin. Let's go back to the daily candles here. Bitcoin, again, reached the new all-time high. I think that we're probably going to stop out right around where I'm recording this video. The reason for that being, this is the line of previous long-term supports that Bitcoin has broken above. After we broke above that, we really started rallying to these highs that you see here. And right now, we're retesting this line of macro resistance as new support. That's what I meant the first time. Macro resistance, new support. Okay, TA 101, especially when it's a trend line this significant. Previous lines of resistance will be tested as new support, and previous lines of support are likely to be tested as new resistance. Okay, right now, Bitcoin, after reaching that new all-time high, just going bonkers over the last day. We're seeing crazy volume. Right now, we're seeing 41,000 volume on average volume of 16, 17,000. Insane, over 2x volume. Love to see that. That makes sense with new all-time highs. A lot of price discovery going on right now. Good news for Bitcoin and all crypto assets. Bitcoin, again, pretty much at this line of what I believe will be new support from here. I think we keep rallying, as I just implied. Once a new all-time high is broken, blue sky territory is achieved, it's pretty damn unlikely that we see a meaningful correction from there. New highs are likely in the short to medium term for sure, and I think that's going to happen. I think this happens prior to the halving. I think everyone who is starting to invest in Bitcoin is going to read about the halving, and it will be priced in. So I will say right now that I do think the halving could be somewhat of a buy the hype, sell the news. I've heard some analysts say that the halving is more psychological than tangible. It's for sure psychological, but it's very objectively tangible. The supply that is coming into circulation is being cut in half. That's objectively bullish for the supply and demand economics of Bitcoin, okay? So objectively bullish, the halving, but you know, it's likely to get at least priced in to some extent, maybe not fully priced in. Who knows what fully priced in really is? But I do think that Bitcoin rallies into the halving, maybe a little correction right after the halving happens. But again, it's objectively bullish for the supply and demand economics of Bitcoin. Less supply with equivalent demand equals a higher price. Okay, equivalent or greater, because it's probably going to be greater because Bitcoin is just gaining so much hype and mania, which again, over a waves cap, that's what we really thrive in these markets. So it's very exciting times. Price target for Bitcoin is going to be this line of long-term resistance on this megaphone channel from current levels. I should say from the previous all-time high around 69,000. Once we break above that all-time high, I think we have not a clear shot, but a fairly clear shot, a blue sky territory shot up to, I'll just make that. I'll make that a nice shade of blue for blue sky territory. I think we have we can shoot up 20 to 25% to test the line of long-term resistance on this megaphone channel. I don't have the bottom line of this channel drawn, but it would look like that-ish. Megaphone channel, massive macro megaphone channel, multi-year megaphone channel. Called a megaphone channel because it is shaped like a megaphone. I'm sure you can assume that. So that is my price target for Bitcoin. That would take us up to about $85,000 prior to the halving. Again, after the halving, maybe a little buy the hype, sell the news action, pulls back, and then rally to 6 figures. Okay, I think we see 6 figures by 2025. More a matter of if, not when. I'm not going to try to call the month. But in terms of the short to medium term, I'd say more medium term actually. Next month or so, I think we can rally as high as $85,000 or another 20 to 25%. Why is Riot and Mara tanking so hard? God, the markets are so freaking bloody today. Wild. Thank God we had those Apple puts. Again, those Apple puts, our options portfolio at Waves Cap is literally in the green as the markets are melting. So that's why you always stay hedged. And this Apple trade has been on the table for a couple of weeks now, you guys. Called this one. This is one of the most promising trades, like technical trades I've ever seen. Don't want to rip on Apple, but always just stay hedged, you guys. Regardless of how bullish you may be on something, having a small hedge position can literally save your portfolio from utter destruction and even make you gains. Again, the Waves portfolio is green today, which is insane given how freaking bloody the markets are. Anyway, we'll cover this at the end, cover the Riot versus Mara argument just for a little bonus because this is a pretty good article, and I'll link this article down in the description if you guys want to go read it, which I recommend you do. But first, let's just cover my general thoughts on why Bitcoin miners are tanking while Bitcoin is going up, okay? First of all, there is a tangible argument, which I discussed in the last video. So I'm going to try to not repeat myself, but that's what the video is about, so I'm going to. The Bitcoin halving will have an objective impact on miners, okay? And I kind of discussed that here. Sure, the upcoming halving will eat into the profits of miners, but if Bitcoin itself doubles, triples, etc., it goes to 100, like 100K, $150K, 200K, then the profits for Riot and Bitcoin miners, even given equivalent or likely greater efficiency and operational capacity, will increase by 50%, 100%, $150%, etc. Okay? So the revenue of miners will be impacted by Bitcoin upon the halving. But if Bitcoin continues to climb the way it is, which is incredibly likely given just the macro fundamental setup for Bitcoin and really the markets, because rate cuts are coming too, major good news for just the entirety of the financial markets, then that's good news for miners, okay? Small caps are doing well as well. One of our biggest trades at Waves Capital is the Russell 2000. That's also been doing amazingly for us, okay? So small caps are doing well. Riot Platforms is a small cap. Mara is quickly reaching like mid-cap size, which makes me, again, also more bullish on Riot. I think Mara is currently like 2x the size as far as market cap is concerned than Riot. I don't think that's easy to justify. I don't think that's justifiable, I guess. Anyway, again, the halving is an objective factor. I do think that a lot of people are hearing about the impact that the halving has had. And I will just say that many of the investors, I don't want to, definitely not all the investors, but a good amount of the investors in Riot who definitely are on YouTube, considering this, I can confidently say one of the first, if not the first person to cover Riot Platforms, which was Riot Blockchain at the time, on YouTube. A decent amount of people who are trading, investing in Riot or Bitcoin miners overall are aware of this channel. I definitely wouldn't say I'm the biggest channel who's covering Riot. I feel like I'm for sure not. Haven't really done research on that. But regardless, if you're invested in Riot, you're paying attention to this channel or adjacent channels. All that to say that I feel like I have a pretty good grasp given the comments that I'm seeing and the questions that I'm getting in my inbox, even from like newsletter responders and stuff, is showing a lot of fear. And that sentiment, I'm assuming, can be reflected in the majority of Riot investors, even if they're not on YouTube or engaging in kind of this realm of content, right? That's, again, just to say I have my finger on the pulse of how the average Riot investor feels. And right now, it's very clear to me, and it has been for a couple of weeks, that Riot investors are worried. Every day, I'm barraged with questions. Like, why is Riot, like, why are Bitcoin miners falling? Again, the exact questions I'm addressing right now. Why are Bitcoin miners falling while Bitcoin is ripping? Why is Riot underperforming Mara? to just really bring all of these thoughts together, I think that it's primarily psychology. I think that there are definitely other assets. Again, the Bitcoin ETF is a good example. If someone's trying to like play in a leveraged way Bitcoin, miners were that in 2021. 2017 and 2021, miners were the way to play leverage on Bitcoin. Now, it's clear that like assets like Coinbase and the new Bitcoin ETF ticker are consuming a lot of that leverage, right? The money that wants to play leverage Bitcoin. That's being taken by Coinbase and like the Bitcoin ETF itself once again. That said, I do think that miners will make a comeback. I do think that the sell-off isn't warranted. I think the sell-off is primarily the impact of fear and panic for the exact, like, everyone's thinking what I just described, and that is creating for fear and panic. But personally, again, I could be wrong. I said here, you know where my money stands. I bought more Riot calls over the past couple of days, to be completely honest. And I think the Bitcoin miners will come back. I think this is a state of fear. I think that all of the reasons that I just broke down do have some merit and definitely contribute from a fundamental perspective. But for also the reasons I just described, I don't think they're really going to matter in the medium to longer term. I think that this is a fear-driven, panic-driven sell-off. And I think that's, as I said here, anyone who's been getting sweaty hands and selling into this weakness will be feeling increasingly regretful as we advance through the weeks ahead. Okay? Money where my mouth is, once again, I could be wrong, but I do think that once the dust settles, miners will make a comeback. We're not going to take a look at Riot on the charts today, but I do think that we can climb back up to the $17.50, $18 region over the next couple of weeks prior to the month of April, for Riot at least. And I think we could go much higher than that if Bitcoin chooses to rally to, you know, like 85 racks, like 85K, like I believe it will. Okay, so that's that, you guys. We'll just close it out with a little Needham. As you can see here, Riot Platforms or Marathon Digital. I will link this in the description of the video. Needham said that Riot Platforms is a superior Bitcoin stock for right now. Okay, once again, I just wanted to highlight this. If they had said Mara was better than Riot, I probably wouldn't have even featured it. But you guys know, if you've been around for a while, Riot is my go-to play. I'm not saying Riot is better than Mara, but in my opinion, it is, and that's why I trade solely Riot as far as Bitcoin miners go. And it's been that way for the past couple of years. I used to pretty much trade all of them. Now I've chosen Riot. That is my dog in this race. Okay, so I appreciate you guys watching. I'm excited for what the future has in store for us. I'm just excited for, you know, these good times to come back and the waves to continue rolling in for us over at Waves Capital. Once again, if you do want to join the team, if you want a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, all call options, all put options that have been doing very well for us, thank God. And it looks like they'll continue to do so. If you want my daily trades, if you want my daily newsletters, all right, 2 of these puppies every day, then it's the first link in the description. Welcome to the winning team if you choose to join. But if not, I appreciate you watching this video. Until next time, team, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.